Thank you again, Representative Tlaib, for hosting this joint special hour, the Progressive Caucus and the Pro-Choice Caucus. It is now my pleasure to yield time to the gentle lady from the great state of New York, the Honorable Representative Ocasio Cortez.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank my esteemed colleague, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib for hosting this week's special order hour on an issue that is so critically important to people and all people who want health care and need equitable access to reproductive health care and justice in the United States. Right now, we are facing a critical juncture in the fight for health care and reproductive health care in the United States. Louisiana lawmakers designed a law to push abortion out of reach. It compounds the financial barriers of people struggling to make ends meet that they already face when seeking care, including the decades-old Hyde Amendment that has long denied affordable abortion care for low-income people. When I think about this issue, and when any of us think about this issue, we bring our whole selves to the conversation. And when I think about this issue, when I think about the issue of reproductive health care, I bring so much of my experience working in hospitality and restaurants. Working in restaurants is a front line for sexual harassment and sexual assault. And working as a waitress, many of my colleagues were sexually harassed and sexually assaulted. There were days where many of them did not have access to reproductive health care or even prenatal health care. One woman I know was pregnant and had no health care, and she had to show up at free clinics for hours at a hospital, waiting for a new doctor every time. Another friend of mine that I had worked with was in an abusive relationship. And as we all know, reporting rape is a very different issue than accessing reproductive health care in time. And when we impose things like the Hyde Amendment, what we say is that if you are wealthy and have these conditions, you can have access to reproductive health care and an abortion. But if you are poor, you will not be afforded those same issues. That's what the Hyde Amendment is telling the American people. And all people who are capable of being pregnant or know a person or are part of a family of someone who is pregnant. It's incredibly important that we advance and uphold issues of economic and racial justice for all people, regardless of their income and regardless of who they are. And right now, choice is the law of the land. That law should be extended to all people. And there is no reason, none, that a Democratic majority should uphold the Hyde Amendment in the United States. We have to make sure that all people have access to reproductive justice and reproductive health care. And last but not least is that these decisions, oftentimes heart-wrenching, are not decisions to be made between a constituent and a legislator. It's a decision to be made between a person and their doctor. And nobody's health care should be up to a senator or their state representative to determine, no less when so many of these bodies are not representative and do not contain people who can become pregnant in them. People do not understand, so many of the people writing these laws do not understand the scope and the breadth that economic and reproductive justice entails. And to that, we have to make sure that we eliminate the Hyde Amendment and allow all people to have access to the reproductive justice and health care that they need. And with that, it is now my pleasure to yield time to the gentleman from the great state of Illinois and my dear friend, the Honorable Representative Chuy Garcia.